Now see the next topic for the rotational motion. Here we see the kinetic energy for rotational motion. So for that we write this question. Obtain an expression of rotational kinetic energy of a rigid body and hence show moment of inertia is an analogous quantity for mass. Now in this case, here we consider this rigid body. Its mass is capital M. This is the axis passing through this point O. That is called as axis of rotation. Now this body is rotating about this axis in anticlockwise direction with constant angular velocity omega. This body consists of n number of particles having masses m1, m2, m3, m4, m5, and they are situated at the respective distances r1, r2, r3, r4 and r5. These distances are perpendicular, means like this. They are perpendicular from the axis of rotation. As this omega, it is constant for every particle, but these particles perform the circular motion with this velocity v1. This particle is moving with v2 because their distances are different, so their linear velocities are different. So from this diagram we can write this theoretical part, and this theoretical part is nearly same for three questions related to the rotational motion of a body. Now see that, consider rigid body of mass m rotating about an axis passing through it with constant angular velocity. You can write here omega about an axis passing through it. At point O, it consists of n number of particles of masses m1, m2, mn situated at perpendicular distances r1, r2, rn respectively from axis of rotation. The angular velocity omega is same for all particles, but their linear velocities are different, that is v1, v2, like previous explanation from the diagram. Now if v1, v2, v3, these are the velocities, omega is the angular velocity, r is the distance, then from the relation between linear and angular velocity, v is equal to r omega. From that relation we can write v1 is equal to r1 omega, v2 equal to r2 omega, and in this way vn is equal to rn omega. Now the translational kinetic energy first. If we find the rotational, then we start from translational. So in translational kinetic energy, for the first particle, K1 is equal to half m1 v1 square, because for first particle m1 is mass, v1 is velocity. For second particle m2 is mass, v2 is velocity. So like that we can write this. Now again here we put the value of v1. Then it is half m1 r1 square omega, half m2 r2 square omega. In this way we can write for nth particle. These are the individual kinetic energies. If we collect all the individual kinetic energies, then they gives a rotational kinetic energy, which is the sum of individual translational kinetic energy. Now put these values from equation 1, taking common half and omega square. Then this bracket can be written in the form of summation. In this way you can write the second equation, but this summation is nothing but moment of inertia, because from the definition of moment of inertia you know it. Then put this value. This is the expression of rotational kinetic energy. Now see, the rotational kinetic energy means half I omega square is analogous to the translational kinetic energy half mv square. Now compare these two equations. Half is same, m, here is I, here is v, here is omega. We know the relation between v and omega, that is v is equal to r omega. So I and m, they are related to each other, and hence we can write there, that is I is replaced by m and omega is replaced by v. Therefore I is analogous to m and hence called as rotational inertia of a body. This gives the analogy between mass and moment of inertia. Mass represents inertia of a body, because If the greater mass is there, then according to Newton's law, greater force is required to push it. If the mass is small, then small force is required. Means by Newton's second law, that mass represents inertia of a body in translational motion. But here m is replaced by I. So I is also inertia, but it is for rotational motion. So it is called as rotational inertia of a body. In this way, we can see this expression of kinetic energy. Now the second expression. Obtain an expression of angular momentum of a rigid body rotating about an axis in terms of moment of inertia. So in terms of again moment of inertia, we want to find out their angular momentum. Diagram remains same, like kinetic energy. Here is omega, means angular velocity. So here are linear velocities. This theoretical part also remains same. Means they will see this diagram, and from that diagram we can write this theoretical part. Now the starting is also same like kinetic energy. V1 is equal to by the relation. Now the linear momentum, because we want to find out angular. So first start from linear. So linear momentum of the particles. For first particle it is m1, p1 is equal to m1 v1, but v1 is r1 omega. Then second particle, third particle. In this way you can write the individual linear momentus. From that we can write the angular momentum of the particles. Relation between angular momentum is L is equal to P into R, where P is linear momentum, R is the distance. So put this value of P1, it is m1 r1 omega into r1, so it is m1 r1 square omega. Like that we can write up to ln. These are individual for the particles. Now all these angular momentas, they are directed around the axis of rotation. In the same direction they are directed. So the total angular momentum is the sum of all individual angular momentas. So put these values. Again take omega common. Then write this bracket in terms of summation. We know this summation is nothing but the moment of inertia. So L is equal to I omega. Means if you understood kinetic energy of rotation well, then you can easily attempt it. Starting is also same, and again for that linear and then angular. In this way we can see this. Now see the third question, that is obtain an expression of torque acting on a rigid body rotating about an axis in terms of moment of inertia. Now for the equation of torque, you must remember this, torque is equal to I alpha. Here is alpha, so here is alpha. Alpha is angular acceleration. So inside the body there are linear accelerations. In case of kinetic energy and angular momentum, here is omega, because kinetic energy of rotation is half I omega square and angular momentum is I omega square, means omega is there. So here is omega for that. Here in equation of torque it is alpha, so here is alpha. So remember in this way that diagram. If here is angular quantity, then inside the body there we show linear quantities for individual particles. So angular acceleration means here linear acceleration a1, a2, a3, and by Newton's second law F is equal to ma. So for the first particle m1 a1, so it is m1 a1 is f1, m2 a2 is f2. In this way we can show the forces, and from this we can write this theoretical part, like same by the two previous questions of kinetic energy and angular momentum. Now here is equation of acceleration, relation between linear and angular acceleration. a1 is equal to r1 alpha, a2 is equal to, means in the first step there we show the relation between linear and angular quantities. In that two questions omega v, so v is equal to r omega. Here is alpha a, so a is equal to r alpha. So in this way we can write it. Then the forces acting on different particles. F1 is equal to m1 a1, but a1 is r1 alpha, so it is m1 r1 alpha. In this way we can write the equations of forces. Then the relation between torque and force. When the two forces are acting on the body, suppose this is a body and the distance between these two ends is r, and here we rotate this body about this point by applying force F here, and this another force here, means two opposite forces when acting on the body, then body rotates, and at that time the torque is given by magnitude of one of the force into perpendicular distance between two forces. So on this particle, these forces are act, so there is formation of torque, and torque is given by F into R, so it is F1 R1, F2 R2. Then put the value of F1 here, M1 R1 alpha into R1, means M1 R1 square alpha. In this way we can write the individual torques acting on the particles. Then all the torques are directed in the same direction. So the resultant torque acting on a rigid body is summation of all, sum of all torques. Now we can write it. Then put the values of the that individual torques. Then taking alpha common, then write this bracket in the form of summation, which is nothing but a moment of inertia. In this way we can see the equation of torque acting on a rigid body rotating about an axis passing through it. These three questions are similar. Only you have to write these all three questions on the same page, and what is the difference. If we study in this way, then easily you can understand.